line now. Shawn Rossap from Fightful, your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the time to do this. Outside of the Iron Man match that we saw last year, this was like the first NXT title match with more than two people in it in like 6 or 7 years. That causes a lot of pace changes, a lot of production changes. Can you all tell us about maybe some of the challenges or benefits of running something like this as a main event, as opposed to the traditional one-on-one matches that we've seen main event so many takeovers?
I think for me, it all comes down to where you are, not only in the moment, storyline-wise, what you have available to you, obviously, with injuries and everything else, but then where you are storyline-wise and where you're trying to get to. To me, I'm always a big fan of one-on-one storytelling, and to me, when you can get there, those are the cleanest. The personal stories, even if they revolve around championships or, at the end of the day, that's the goal in some manner in the business. So if you can make personal rivalries around that between individuals, to me, it's always the strongest. But when you have that many talented people like you have in this instance, and you have a moment in time where it gets you to a better place to put everybody in there, and where you're trying to go storyline-wise, then that's a good a good thing. And if you do them all the time, they don't mean anything. But having them now and then, they're special when you do them. Shawn?
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. I mean, to Shawn's point, the last time we did one was a year ago, and we did that again because of where we were going, and we went to a good place after that. And again, a year later, the timing felt right, to do it again, because we feel, like always, we hope on, following it up in a way that is
the most meaningful.
Exactly, and beneficial for the brand.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shawn. Thanks for the question, Shawn.
We'll take our next question from Gary Cassidy from Inside the Ropes. Your line is open. Please go ahead.
Hey, Gary.
Hi, guys. Congratulations on another brilliant takeover. So I want to go back to my favourite moment of the night, of course, was the Tian Sha faction getting another brilliant development. It's so different to what people perceive NXT to be, or what they used to, with it being, pure wrestling. Whereas, it's spooky stuff, and we see that on Raw with Alexa Bliss and The Fiend, and it seems to get a much more mixed reaction on Raw, despite it being on a more suited programme. I want to ask if you guys see a difference there, and if there was any hesitance to doing such a different storyline on NXT.
So, I'm a big fan of variety within the shows, and having things that are different, different characters, when you can get them, different characters, different personalities, different size of performers, all of that, but also different, characters in general. So you get an LA Knight, you can get a Johnny Gargano, who was a serious, as serious of a wrestler as you can be, because your name becomes Johnny Wrestling. And then, you morph that character, and he goes into the way with all these other people, and it's one of the most entertaining things on the show. But at any point in time, you can pull that trigger, and he's right back into the wrestling mode. To have characters like Tian Sha, I think you have to handle them slightly differently so that you can make them sort of make sense in your world, right? There's certain, I guess, parameters or rules to the universe that you're in. Everybody's is different, right? All the shows are slightly different. I feel like even there's a slight difference between even just Raw and SmackDown as to what works on one show, what doesn't on others. I feel ours is the same way. So having that good mix is great, but also how you handle them and making sure that they fit within the sort of the universe that you're existing in. And I think the best example of that for me would be like Marvel does a really good job with it of, having serious, almost dramatic movies, and then having moments where, oh, this guy's a god and the other guy's a robot and this guy's from outer space. And yet it all fits in, and they do a good job of keeping it reasonably, working within that world. I think that's the trick. That's the difficult part that we strive to try to do. Shawn?
Yeah, no, I just look, for me, I guess I always look at it as there are some people and some characters or some groups that have the ability to look larger than life. And then we have other, I'd argue that about me. Taker, Taker was somebody, again, that was a little bit more larger than life, so it was a much bigger production when he was coming out as opposed to the Heartbreak Kid. It was just music and some silly dancing. But you know what I mean? And I guess that was because his was such a stronger character than mine. Mine was more, again, about the guy, the wrestler that eventually took all the earrings off and stuff like that. So I think so much it has to do, again, with each individual character, their style, their persona. I think a lot of those things, and that would be my guess. You look at those and sort of determine, I don't know, is this something that has the ability to make a little bit bigger, to make a bit more dramatic, and darker. Yeah.
I can also tell you there's just certain people that don't have that, whatever you want to look at, theatrical flair or something, right? Where if you put them in a costume and you go, all right, go out here and do this entrance with this cool costume on and all that stuff, they're going to look like the most uncomfortable thing in the world. And there are other people that can just make that stuff work. It just depends on the person, and I think that's part of the variety of the show. Austin just walked out in black boots and the music playing and wobbling his head and flipping people off, and it worked. But it was one of the most spectacular entrances of all time. So it just depends on the character, and I think a little bit of variety is what makes it all work.
Our next question is from the line of Jason Powell from Pro Wrestling Net. Your line is open.
Hey, Jason.
I thought the show, show was entertaining and well worked by the crew. And I don't mean any disrespect in saying this. It's obviously just my perspective. But it's felt like something's been missing from NXT lately, and I think it goes beyond just the bigger crowds. So I'm curious, how do you guys feel about the state of the brand? Do you feel like you're firing on all cylinders? Do you feel like you're in need of a spark?
I think you're always looking for a spark. I think you're coming out of COVID with certain storylines and the ebb and flow of where you're going. Everybody has their opinion, and they're entitled to those opinions. I'm happy with the product. I think talent are working very hard. I think the spark comes. No show goes for 10 straight years without having ebb and flow. No show goes through periods of time where things are, hey, this is pretty good, and then a certain period of time where things are off the chart. That's just how it is. You're constantly looking for that. You're constantly looking for the thing that gets you to the place and connect. Sometimes you got to reboot. Sometimes you're just telling a longer term story. It's all, every single day in this business, it's a work in progress. And, you can look at moments in time of the business where people's hindsight was 20/20 of looking back into it, or their remembrance of it was much greater, I should say, than what it was. There's always that ebb and flow, always. And everybody's welcome to have their opinion. I'm happy with where we are. I'm happy with the talent pool we have, and where they're going to take us. It's a group of incredibly talented people. I'll put that out against anything. I think we have one of the greatest rosters in the world across the board. So, every day is a challenge to get to the next one.
I always take it as a compliment, Jason, and I think it's a good problem to have when you get held to a standard that sometimes is tough. I can remember, Shawn had a good match, but it wasn't a match of the year candidate. Like, okay, no, you're right. It was the Unforgiven pay-per-view, and so when you start, and I think that's what NXT and their takeovers do, that we've been held to such a high standard, which is a good problem to have, and I think when talent, hear feedback, it just, again, like yours, and again, no disrespect taken, to be perfectly honest. I think people see that, and it just encourages them, it just makes them work harder, makes them push more, and it certainly does us as well. You know what I mean? So I sort of like those challenges, but I also have learned over the years to take it as quite a compliment to when everyone's saying, yeah, well, but it wasn't, wasn't as good as Taker's, wasn't as good as Flair. Like, yeah, well, okay, you got me there.
Yeah.
So, so again, I think we still got a pretty good batting average here in NXT, and hitting over 400, I think's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty well, I think.
Our next question comes from the line of Ryan Satin from Fox Sports. Please go ahead, Ryan.
Hey guys,
Ryan.
another show tonight. Hey. NXT, I've noticed, has a real DX-like vibe to them. Have they come to you guys looking for input on that?
Who was that? Oh, MSK? No, not really. I mean, I think we just sort of kind of let them be them. I don't know. What would you think?
No, that's the thing. Because I was just talking with them yesterday, honestly, and that's exactly what it is. I don't know. The funny thing is, what they seem to enjoy about us is that we do. We haven't tried to change them. They talked about how we let them be them, and just tried to allow them to have fun, enjoy themselves. You know what I mean? And try to just get the most out of what they do. We try to, again, make it a relaxed atmosphere here. We don't put anybody into a box around here as best we can. We always knew what we liked when we were working. And it's when we were challenged, when we were encouraged to go out there. The best advice we ever got was go out there. And if you go too far, I'll pull you back. And that's sort of what we encourage people to do here is go ahead and take risks. Go ahead and experiment, see what works. And if we start asking you to dial it back, that's because we're worried somebody's going to kick us off the air or something.
Yeah.
But it's encouraging talent to make the most of themselves.
And the other aspect of that is also knowing when something is a crutch, a certain character trait or a certain thing that they do that you feel like they're better than this or they're beyond that, but that's the thing they've gotten comfortable doing. And that's the hardest. That growth is difficult and it's hard to face. So sometimes you have to push them outside of that comfort zone of them wanting to just be what they've been before, and you want to encourage them to get to a different place. Try to do something different and something new. And, when you challenge them to that, I honestly find that 99% of the time here, if you challenge them to get outside of the box that they're in and do something new and different and wild, man, they get out there.
And those boys like that.
Yeah, they love it.
They react to that in just a phenomenal way.
All right, folks, we'll do one more and we'll call it a night.
Thank you. We'll take our last question from Billy Pritchard from WrestleZone.com. Your line is open.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. I wanted to ask, the show ended on a bit of a cliffhanger tonight, and short of asking you where it's going, you'll obviously have to tune in on Tuesday. What is William Regal meant to the brand for you, and what can he still do? What do you feel like he can still help talent with, whether it's people leading to conclusions that he's gonna be off air, or if he keeps going, like how can he still help the brand no matter what his on-screen role is moving forward?
That was the coolest, quietest way of asking us what's going to happen on Tuesday of all time. Look, William Regal, it's just imperative. He's been such an integral part of this since day one. There are certain people that have, and then there's people that have come in along the way that have become, like, it's hard to envision doing it in any sort of way without them. Regal's definitely one of those people. And I don't think that we will ever do it without him. He'll be a part of this until the day that he tells me he doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. But
I'll still be embalming him and sending him over to the UK with me if I have to. That's for sure.
You know, he just loves. It's like it's why Shawn's here. It's why I'm here. It's why Matt Bloom's here. Sarah's here. It's why this whole team is here. They love the business, and they love all the aspects of this business and want to see it continue and move forward. They want to help guide it and change it into the future, try to create the business that they always hoped and wished it could be as they were coming up, and, you know, get rid of the things that none of us liked or understood about the business, and enhance the bits and pieces that we did love about it. And he is that way to the core. You know, he's constantly pulling talent aside, constantly in their ear. You know, he's one of the biggest recruiting factors we have. He's got a handle on just about everybody that's out there, and is one of the best eyes of somebody that's maybe never done this before, that steps in the ring, and just athletically you can see, okay, yeah, they'll be able to do this and do it really well. You know, he's incredible at that. So his value here, tough to be measured, and he'll always be a part of it, no matter where we go on Tuesday.
Yeah, whether he's an owner character or not, I think he's a coach to the end.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's just in Steve's
who
blood.
he is. Who he is as a human being.
That's right. It's just Steve. Can't help but to want to help younger talent, and he's always been that way, and he will be that. You know, regardless of whether he's on TV or not, I can promise you.
Yeah. Good.
Folks, that'll wrap up tonight's conference call. I'll turn it over to Paul and Shawn for some closing comments.
So, you know, one, I just wanted to to thank fans for the last, year and a half, for all of it. I mean, it's just Jesus since the beginning. But, you know, the last year and a half, as we and everybody in this business has tried to continue to do what we do through incredibly tough circumstances, to talent that worked through incredibly tough circumstances. I don't know how a lot of them did it, you know, with no crowds, and it's not easy. And they've done it because they love performing for fans. They love performing for their reaction and everything else. And we talk about it a lot, but the putting smiles on people's faces, it just means letting people enjoy what we do. Have fun, enjoy it. Go to a show, enjoy it. Sometimes we put too much pressure on ourselves. Sometimes people put too much pressure on themselves for stuff. You know, we're not solving the world's ills. We're not doing anything insane. We're just giving people entertainment, and hopefully they enjoy it. Hopefully they love it, and we'll want to come back and see it some more. And so my hat's off to them for sticking with it and just being excited to see it. And then, you know, as we're getting to the other side of this, coming back in droves, and I can tell you that there were a bunch of giddy-like children talent here today because we had a packed arena. And it's not a ton of people, but it's a packed arena, and it was awesome. And you know, the Raw, SmackDown, everybody else, we're all about to go back out on the road and begin to do things, and people are, you know, our talent are thrilled to get back out there, be in front of people, be in front of their fans in general, and just do what we do and entertain people. So thank you to them. Thank you for being here tonight, Justin, and just being a part of the show. And hopefully, you know, you'll all be the judges, but hopefully he did a good job, and you'll all be invited on as well, which I think he did awesome. And look forward to being able to do this with others as well. And just thanks for everybody for joining us tonight. Shawn, you want to add anything?
Nah. No, thank y'all very much. No, it is. I guess for me it's simple. I mean, for us it is fun to get back in front of the people again. It's just, I don't know, when you're out there in front of nobody, you'd be surprised what 350 do for you. I don't know. Like I said, it feels like we're finally getting back to, I don't know, the original reason why we all do this business is to go out there and perform. It was a nice start tonight.
Yep. Thank you all very much.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.